over this time, I had become who I thought I needed to be in order to be a good mom and a good wife, but destiny still hadn't been discovered until
Uh, uh, wake up, it's time to activate. Wake up, it's time to activate. You know there is more that God has in store. You've been so used to hiding and used to inviting the fear, guilt, and doubting that keeps you from thriving. But wake up, it's time to activate it. Wake up, it's time to activate it. Activate your destiny. Time to activate it.
Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of the Activate Your Destiny podcast. I am still your host, Destiny Faith McCoy, and we are continuing our series of understanding God's grace in our journey of obedience. And today we are going to move right on down the wall of evidence behind me and talk about this makeup certification. This is the story that I've shared time and time again, where I was lost in the sauce about who I was. At this point, I have 3 children. And remember, in each episode so far, another child has been added. But we are at 3 children. I am a stay-at-home mom in the midst of a pandemic. I am adding homeschooling to my resume, and I am lost. I am trying to understand what part of destiny fits into the roles that I play for everybody else. And you all know I've told it over and over again. I'm crying. I am fed up. I'm explaining to God that I don't understand why everything that I'm doing is no longer working. And what exactly does He want from me? Because at this point, I am over it. Okay. And I remember God saying that it wasn't that He asked me, to show up perfectly in all these roles. What He really wanted me to do was to dig deeper and figure out who I was. So by this time, years have gone by, and that same woman who didn't know who she was walking across the stage at University of Baltimore still does not know who she is. Over this time, I had become who I thought I needed to be in order to be a good mom and a good wife, but destiny still hadn't been discovered until this moment. Now, fast forward a little bit, I remember that, I actually love cute outfits. I love makeup. I had worked at a makeup counter before we had kids, and I loved it, right? I start doing my makeup again to feel good about myself. I start, putting on a cute outfit, even if we were just sitting around the house, because that is what was pouring into me. But the more conversations I began to have with my other mom friends, the more I realized that while I was okay finding a few moments here and there doing these things, they were not. There were moments where they did not understand or could not fathom spending any time on themselves that did not involve their children. It was interesting to me because that's not a sustainable way to live, to feel like everything that you do has to be because of somebody else. You never get a moment to breathe, to think, to eat, to sleep, nothing. You're just constantly pouring and pouring and pouring. And another thing I noticed is that nobody else knew how to do their makeup. It was baffling to me, but in a good way, because it gave me the extra push to continue this wall of evidence. Now, at the time, I didn't see it as a wall of evidence. I just saw it as me wanting to learn the correct way of how to do things so that I could teach the other moms that I was constantly dealing with. I wanted to be able to say, regardless of your skin tone, your skin type, and what your makeup desires were, I would be able to teach you how to do your makeup. So I enrolled in another program to become a certified makeup artist. But in this program, I realized that there was a lot still going on inside of me. I had to understand that beauty is only skin deep. We've heard it before, but it's the truth. I can put on all the makeup I want. I can put on the cutest outfits, but if my soul is not good and if my identity is not found, then what does the makeup do besides cover it all up? Beauty is only skin deep. Means I have to also address what's going on inside of me. Now, if you are a mom that also feels like I don't have time to look cute, I don't have time to put on makeup, although I would really love to understand how to put on concealer to cover the fact that I never sleep, you and myself are the reason why I started to understand that beauty is only skin deep. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand that you are worth a moment. You are worth 5 moments. You are worth whatever it takes for you to pour back into yourself. The Bible says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, which means God never intended for us to have to rely on our own strength. When we're relying on our own strength, that's when we are pouring into everybody else and feeling empty. And I found myself starting to do that again as I ventured into entrepreneurship, as I started to have makeup clients and all of these different experiences. I started to understand that I still don't know who Destiny is. But I have to be able to find her out. God is still giving me the grace that we talked about in the first 2 episodes of this series to figure out Destiny. He's giving me the strength to figure out who she is. So I ask you this question today. What has God already given you the strength to do that you feel like you still have to rely on your own strength to accomplish? Is it stewarding your home well? Is it starting that business or that community? Is it applying for that promotion at your job? Because we often look at our own schedules and our routines, and it feels like nothing else can possibly fit in the schedule. However, God already knows what he has intended for us. So he also knows that it can fit in our capacity if we trust in him. If we lean not on our own understanding, but onto his, then his strength can help us get through it. So, of course, this is another piece of my wall of evidence that has to be accounted for, even though I talk about this story all the time, because this story is what led us here today. For me, having this conversation with you, me hosting the Activate Your Destiny podcast, and me being the founder of Mom School, it all started with this moment, with that frame, and understanding that destiny had to be poured into on the inside and out. I hope this sent you some piece of encouragement to remember that you don't have to rely on your own strength to endure what is going on inside of you. I will see you guys next week for episode 4 of this series, that God is going to give us the grace as we continue to be obedient and pursue our own wall of evidence.